My name is Jerry SVENDSEN. I was hired as the public relations representative in 1961 and eventually became the director of public relations and eventually became the vice president of public relations in Sun City and was actively working in Sun City for 20 years. I came in December to work, the first day, December 8th of 1961, and I took over for the guy who was the public relations person before me, who had gone on to, they're going to be building a new Sun City in Riverside, California, and I took over for him. One of the things he did was write a newsletter that went back to people waiting for their homes to be constructed. And when that was happening, people would get back there and they'd have to spend months, sometimes weeks, sometimes months, waiting for their homes. Well, buyer's remorse could set in because their friends and family were saying, why do you want to move out there? Stay here. So the newsletter was a letter from their future home. Basically, it was about what was going on in the community, the new recreation center being built, where we were now building homes, general information like that. I was also the host of the Newcomers Coffee. So when people would get here, and I would be up front and say, oh, that's the guy that's been writing us. But we have the civic associations give a little 5-minute talk each. We had donuts and coffee and door prizes, and we had resident hostesses who were there in advance of the program starting so that people could socialize and learn more and have fun. When people were in their homes, if they were from a community of 60 to 100,000, that was the type of newspaper that would use a story about this couple. If it was large newspapers, not a chance. But we knew that. So I would go to the homes of people, I would interview them, spend about an hour, more time actually than I wanted to, but they'd give me cookies and milk. This was a son or a grandson that they missed. So they treated me really very, very nicely. And I would say that this couple, Millie and John, have moved to nationally famous resort retirement community, Del Webb, Sun City, Arizona. And invariably, that one line would get into those stories because, wow, the paper would say, they moved to a nationally famous community. They included that. So it was good advertising. So that's one of my jobs, was to interview people for their stories. We knew we needed to take care of those residents because they were our referrals. You get out in the community, you take lots of pictures, you give talks to clubs and organizations. You just have fun with the residents, and they have fun knowing that you're enjoying each other and that you're building something together, which was fantastic. It had a good feeling. Well, what was really interesting about it is it didn't change America's viewpoint on retirement. It changed the viewpoint of the people who made the decision to live in Sun City. Those people said, wow, and the reason we know that there was a huge change in the way they saw retirement is because they would go back home for 2 or 3 months, and then they'd come to Sun City. Then it was 2 months, and then it was 1 month. And the reason for that is they were on the sidelines. They were sedentary. We were active. We were involved. We had so much fun together and so many activities. This is what active retirement is about. We had Christmas cards every year that we made. We'd have I don't know if it was 10, 15, or 20 cards in a box. And the cards showed Sun City, but they also had a really joyous message. And so for the holidays, they would come and we would have them available for them to come and pick up, and they would mail those all over the country. The Grape Festival, the vineyards were out there, acres of vineyards. And John Meeker knew the people because we bought the acreage from for the development of Sun City. But anyway, the vineyards were out there, and John Meeker said, "Hey, can our people come out after you've harvested?" By all means. So we took a flatbed truck out there, I and the public relations, there were like 4 or 5 of us, giving out soft drink, or sodas and water, and chatting with the people. And we were told them, bring your own containers, and they would get out onto those Perlettes, Thompson Seedless, Cardinal grapes. They could pick all of them they wanted. And boy, they'd get out there, and they would come out with like this, bunches of these grapes. Well, my bright yellow jacket has a big sunburst on the back also. And it did the Fiesta Bowl football game, and then a Fiesta Bowl parade. And Del Webb decided, hey, we need a float in the parade. So the advertising department handled a lot of the details. But they said, Jerry, we need to get people who fit it, who really fit the role. So I was involved that way. The other way I was involved is with the actual committee in deciding where our float would be, and that I could walk alongside so I could tell the driver if anything was happening, because he's hidden in there in the motor vehicle. So it was really fun to march in the parade. We had later on the Sun City Palms, the cheerleaders. They used to be a part of the parade, and I'm not even sure if they still do that.
You can see the Sun City Palms tomorrow at the Fiesta Bowl Parade. It's all going to start at 10 in the morning. It's free. It's open to everyone.
My son was on the float with my wife and the 2 boys, and it's like these are the grandparents, these are the parents, and and then the kids. So they were able to enjoy that. Well, the bicentennial in 1976, and there's a Del Webb statue at Bell Recreation Center that needed to be dedicated, and we actually, I can't remember the word, that you take scrap metal, and the residents of Sun City got involved in it, and they threw their metals in, all kinds of things that went into making this bell, the Liberty Bell, that now people can go up at Bell Recreation Center, they can ring the bell. And so now this bell also had a base, and in the base was a time capsule. And we were to place, different departments were to place something in the time capsule, and residents were invited, organizations were invited to put something in it as well. To be opened 50 years later in 2026. 50 years later. So, looking forward to that. I was out in a sailboat, and the guy, he called me, Jerry, can I come out and go sailing in the boat and come out with me? I said, okay, sure, come on out. Well, it was kind of a windy day, and he put the sailboat on, and there we went. And so we're sailing along, it was just wonderful. And so then he did a sharp turn, the sails turned, and I went right into the water. Luckily I was wearing my sports shorts and t-shirt, and I swam around for a while and said, well, I'm in here. But anyway, so I've been in the lake. There was a real uptick in interest in running in 10Ks, but I just was so into fitness. And I thought, you know what, we ought to do this in Sun City. So that's when I met with a group, and I don't know if that was when we started the Walking Jogging Club. And we also then decided to have exercises at the Sun Bowl on the grass terraces. They could put out their blankets and do some kind of floor exercises, and then get up and do some other stuff standing. We had a lot of people come out from Phoenix or from the Valley who ran in the 5K, but a lot of residents walking, and it was a lot of fun. TV 21. It was a channel right here in town. And I had a program, and it's called Sun City Showcase. So people who played musical instruments. This was, I believe that was Harvey Shahan. Harvey Shahan was the advertising director. What was really good about this, and I didn't mention this, Sun Cityans built the churches that came about. They moved here, and the Methodists would look around and say, we don't have a Methodist church. They got together and they built a church. The Lutherans did the same thing. The Episcopalians. Before you know it, we had a lot of churches in Sun City, and they were all involved and volunteered, and that became a part of our community. My observations of what it is to cooperate with each other, to actually like each other, to have ideas, share ideas, and that's what Sun City was for me. And it made my work a joy, and I'm sure that I brought that to them, either whether I was speaking, emceeing, or whatever, taking pictures. I don't know if you've ever heard of a speed graphic camera. I had to learn how to use a camera because I was on top of Town Hall taking pictures of Easter sunrise services. We had 4th of July fireworks shows. 111th and Grand Avenue, we built a softball park for the Sun City Saints softball team, girls softball team. I met, my wife was with the Del Webb Corporation. She was on the 17th floor, and I was 4 years, I had divorced at 24. And then I was free as a bird for the next 4 or 5 years. And that was when I was dating some of the corporate young ladies. And one day I went in to see my friend, the one of them I was dating, and Linda's here and the other woman's here. And I walked in, and she was on the phone, so I looked over, and there was Linda. So I walked over and started talking to Linda, and we had a little conversation. So then a couple of days later, I was with the Del Webb Bowling League, and I looked over, and there was a woman up there watching the bowling, and I thought, oh, that's Linda, yeah, I remember her. So I walked up, and I said, can we go out and have a drink together? And she said, oh, I think that's a good idea. The rest is history. That was in 1965 that I met Linda. We married in September 1966. We had our first child in 69 and the second one in 74. So this whole period of working in Sun City with the Del Webb Company was not only a happy thing for me, marriage, children, we bought a new home, but all of these things were happening at the same time. Those were the best, really the best years of my life, and particularly the first 15 years with the residents. That was just something special.